So I'm here today to talk about another one of my super favorite, all-natural, multitasking, miraculous, magical, wonderful ingredients that you might already have in your kitchen, apple cider vinegar. Let's deep dive on why it's amazing and why I've been using it since I was a kid. So a lot of us probably grew up with apple cider vinegar in our kitchens. Our parents or our grandparents may have used it for cooking, for making salad dressing, and it's just a nice natural staple to have for your diet. But the most important thing to know is the fact that apple cider vinegar happens to be one of the most beneficial substances that you can have and that you can use for overall health and wellness and for really great skin. So my introduction to how beneficial this stuff was when I was in high school. When I was in high school, I was going through growing pains, and I remember distinctly to this day having a lot of sleepless nights because I'd get woken up with Charlie horses or like leg cramps. And it wasn't because I was being particularly active. It was just the fact that, I found out later, I just didn't have the optimal amounts of potassium in my body necessary to basically feed my muscles. So if you have low potassium and low magnesium levels, or low just one of them, you can end up with random mystery muscle cramps. So it was recommended that I drink a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar for a couple of days, and that would help raise my potassium levels and therefore get rid of my muscle cramps. And that's exactly what happened. After a couple of days of taking apple cider vinegar, my muscle cramps resolved, and knock on wood, to this day have not come back. So that was really eye-opening for me back then. Granted, I was a teenager, so I wasn't into really figuring out too much when it came to health and wellness, but I always remembered that. And I actually maintained my daily consumption, or at least every other day consumption, of apple cider vinegar, really for my college years, my post-college years, even while I was traveling for work. And I still always have a bottle on hand at home. So I did write a blog post, and I also made a video about my favorite skin supplements, which I can go ahead and link below. And I do kind of quickly cover why apple cider vinegar is so good for your skin, but I wanted to do a bit more of a deep dive in today's video and talk about why it's so good overall. So apple cider vinegar is actually made from fermented apples. Apples go through this fermentation process, and that's what gives us that tart and tangy vinegary taste. And that's also why with really good brands, or the only brands that you really should be using of apple cider vinegar, you'll see kind of like a little cluster at the bottom. That's the mother. And your apple cider vinegar should be, see if I can do this right, should be cloudy. This one's from Trader Joe's. It's organic raw apple cider vinegar, and it is exactly the same as the Bragg's brand, which is also a really great brand. I recommend only raw and organic because those have the highest levels of potassium and amino acids. You don't want something that's been so diluted that it's basically just like yellow water. Now, the main compound that is incredibly beneficial in apple cider vinegar is acetic acid. That is an anti-inflammatory, antifungal, and antiviral and antibacterial compound, which is why it's actually been used for so many years, centuries as a matter of fact, for disinfecting wounds, for helping with skin conditions like acne, for preventing lice, for treating dandruff. There's so many other things. Oh, and also for treating nail fungus. And there's a bunch of other amazing uses this stuff has. And several research studies have shown that one of those incredible benefits includes helping with type 2 diabetes. And in these studies, it was shown that the regular and consistent consumption of apple cider vinegar can help to keep blood sugar levels at check. And other studies have shown that the consumption of apple cider vinegar can also aid in weight loss and the reduction of belly fat. And further research studies have shown that apple cider vinegar can also help lower cholesterol and triglyceride levels and lower other heart disease risk factors. Now, when it comes to your skin, like I said before, it can be used to help with acne, but it can also be used to help with overly dry skin as well as eczema, because the acetic acid in apple cider vinegar can help restore and balance the pH balance of your skin. Now, you never want to use anything on broken skin. So if your skin is really flared up, or weeping or crusting over, you don't want to use anything acidic on it, simply because it's going to probably irritate your skin further. It is acidic, so you're going to get that burn. But as a preventative, it works incredibly well. But if you're starting to develop a pimple that you haven't messed with yet, putting some apple cider vinegar on there can help to reduce the flare. And of course, you're always going to want to dilute apple cider vinegar when you're using it on your skin. And you're probably going to want to dilute it when you're taking it internally as well. So when I was taking my little teaspoons, I was definitely adding them to some orange juice or pineapple juice to cut the flavor. Now I actually like to make myself these little, I like to call them health cocktails, or actually I don't call them anything, but let's make up a name for them. They're kind of like a Bloody Mary without the alcohol. I'll take some tomato juice or vegetable juice, pour some apple cider vinegar in there, and add a little bit of bone broth, and I've literally got this like cornucopia of health in a cup, and I will have that 3 to 4 times a week. Now, because apple cider vinegar is a product of fermentation, it's also going to have a lot of naturally occurring probiotics and polyphenols in it. So when it comes to digestion, you're going to get a super boost from taking apple cider vinegar, because those polyphenols and those probiotics are going into your gut and helping to create a healthier gut flora and healthier gut microbiome. And the microbiome in our gut really is connected to so many different things. I'm not going to go into all of them because it's overwhelming, but there are a lot of studies that show the connection between our mental health and the health of our gut microbiome. A lot of children with attention deficit disorders also benefit from a healthier gut microbiome. When their guts are healthier, everything else starts to fall into play. So taking your gut health into consideration is so important. And something as simple as taking some apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon every day, every other day, can really help with that. Now, for people that can't stand the taste of apple cider vinegar, even mixed with juice, cooking with it could give you some benefit. So use it as a part of your salad dressing. Use it when you're making stir fries, when you're making like pickled vegetables. Really works incredibly well, and the benefits that you're receiving far outweigh the taste. Now, as with anything, disclaimer here, if you're going to add any new supplement to your diet, if you happen to be on pharmaceutical medications, you do want to run things by your doctor just to make sure there are no contraindications. Because apple cider vinegar has been shown to help with the regulation of insulin levels, you do want to make sure that if you're on medication for diabetes, that this isn't going to in some way affect that medication. So always cover all your bases. And my biggest piece of advice is to, if you can, find a functional or integrative doctor that understands nutrition as well as Western medicine and is able to marry them together. That is it for today. That's our little deep dive into the many benefits of apple cider vinegar and why it's so good for you. This little bottle of unpasteurized fermented goodness is full of so many benefits from head to toe, from the inside to the outside, worth trying. Add it to your shopping list the next time you go to the grocery store. And I'm going to go ahead and drop a link below to not the Trader Joe's, because you can't get them online, but to the Bragg's, which is another fantastic brand of apple cider vinegar. And I'm going to see if I can find some apple cider vinegar gummies. I've not tried those yet, but I've heard that they're great. Some people that I know really like them and have gotten great benefits from them. So I'll link those below as well. Thank you so much for listening and for joining me on my little apple cider vinegar talk. Please go ahead and click like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Drop me a comment below. If you use apple cider vinegar, how do you use it? How do you like to use it? What benefits have you gotten from it, if any? I love to learn how people use some of the things that I love. And that's pretty much it for today. Remember, I post videos every other Wednesday, so I love it when you join me, and I look forward to seeing you next time.